Ladies and gentlemen, the first guest on my right hand side is Miss Melina Yung from the Urban Fight Gym at the Gold Coast. Melina, you just come off a win for the Queensland title against the very tough and talented Eden Reindeers.
Yes, I did. It was a really tough fight. She's an extremely tough and talented fighter. So yeah, it was a good 5x2 full tie rules. Yeah, it was really good.
I tell you what, you did pick a tough customer to go against too.
Yeah,
seems very talented and cool under pressure, and that's a real feather in your cap too.
Yeah, no, it's a good fight. I can't actually wait to see the footage myself. I never remember my fights afterwards. So.
Yeah, neither do I, because I'm usually knocked out at the end of them, but that's okay. Yeah, now you've got a few more tournaments and they're coming up, and hopefully some fights by the end of the year. Yeah,
I've got the Australian National Championships coming up in October. So that's a padded show, or tournament I should say, to get into the World Games next year in 2015. And there's a couple of fights that potentials in at the end of this year as well. So.
Geez, that's the way to go, and you kept pretty busy. You've had a dozen fights now too, for 8 wins?
Yes, so 12 fights, and I've had I think 6 this year.
Oh, that's excellent. What else you're doing too, which is good, and it's helping the sport a lot. We've got the registered fighters now, because a lot of times in the old days, people could lie about their fighters' records and not do bloods, and Queensland were a little bit slow in catching up to the rest of Australia with it. But with the fighters, nationally registered fighters, we're catching up quite nicely. Yes,
I've been running Nationally Registered Fighters Australia for about 2 years now. It's all about helping promoters, gyms and fighters connect. So we promote fighters, help to match fights across Australia, and also keep up-to-date fight records online. Yeah, and basically we've got a lot of things that we're trying to do to help the sport and do some really positive things in the industry.
And you're still working with a lot of the kids at Urban. I know Richard was very big on developing the young people coming through the sport.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of good kids classes, the kids and teenage class at Urban. So yeah, they're cranking a bit at the moment, which is good.
Good start. And the next Urban Fight Night, that's on November the 9th, I believe.
That's right. It's a fully padded full tie rules show. So it's all for anyone from 0 to fights all the way up to however many fights. They have a couple of unpadded at the end of the day, but it's a really good day for families to come along and people to get in there, have their first fight, or have their first full tie rules fight as well.
That sounds great too. Well, Melina, on behalf of the fight show and everybody watching, we're really pleased you came on today, and congratulations on the success you've had, and more success that's sure to come in the future.
Great, thanks for having me on.
The pleasure's all ours.